hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and as you can see, this is another video of class 9. Now this is chapter 3 of coordinate geometry. Now if you've been following along with our channel, then you already know that we have already completed some chapters like the chapter 1 and chapter 2 of class 9. And we are on to the chapter 3, which is coordinate geometry. Now let us move on and see what is this chapter containing, and let us try to explain to ourselves what are the concept that is behind this coordinate geometry. Now before moving on, if you like the content that I've been providing via this channel, then please make sure to give a like to this video and make sure to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated on the videos that we post. Now let us move on into today's video, which is coordinate geometry. Now what is the need of this coordinate geometry chapter? Well, this coordinate geometry can help us locate a point or locate a particular point in the two-dimensional plane. Suppose if I want to locate this point in this board, how do I locate this point in this huge board? Well, how do I know exactly where this point lies in this 2D plane, which is the board? Now, with the help of the coordinate geometry, I can find out the location at which this point lies. Now, let us see how we can use this coordinate geometry to our advantage, or what can we learn from this chapter coordinate geometry? Well, prior to this invention of this coordinate geometry or the Cartesian coordinate system, people had different types of methods to remember locations. Well, if you want to go to the nearest store that you have, then you will remember the route to that location with some popular landmarks. Suppose if your store is over here, and if your house is over here and you want to go towards the store, then suppose if you have a river on the way to the store, then you will remember the path towards the river, and from the river you will go to the store. So this would be a popular method for you, or the preferable method for you to go to the store. Now once you have already practiced going to the store multiple times, then you will find some other routes to the store with some other popular landmarks, and you will proceed towards that way. Now this coordinate system helps us to find the location of this coordinate system is yet another method that helps us to find the location of a particular point. Now instead of these houses, let us represent them with the points. Suppose this is my point A, and this is my home. This is my point B, and this is the store's location. Now I know the location of my home, which is A. I want to find out the location of the store, which is B. Now how do I do that? Well, I can do that in multiple ways. Like I said before, I will try to make sure that I find some popular landmarks, which is C over here. I will locate myself and go towards that landmark first, which is very well known to me, and then I will go towards my store. Now, what if I don't want to involve another landmark, and I directly want to know the store? Because what if I want to tell the location of the store to my friend? Well, my friend doesn't know the way, my friend won't know the way towards a landmark, right? He won't know the landmark which is near my house. Suppose if his house is D, which is over here, but he wants to know the location of the store. Well, he can't be coming over to the landmark you showed and then go to the store, right? That is a pretty lengthy route. Now he wants to know the correct location of the store because he wants to go to the store and buy something the shortest way. So you want to help your friend and you want to give away the location of the store. Now how do you give that in an efficient way? Well, this is one of the ways, but this is not efficient. So for that matter, the concept of coordinate geometry existed. Now a popular French mathematician, René Descartes, found out a method for this problem. Well, the method that he found out was Cartesian system or Cartesian coordinate system. Now how does it work? Well, suppose if you have a point over here, in order to locate this point, he invented the Cartesian coordinate system. Well, what does it consist of? It consists of a horizontal line which is called the x-axis. I'll write it over here. This is called the x-axis, and he represented a vertical line which is called the y-axis. This is the y-axis. Now both these lines extend till infinity and they meet at a point which is called the origin. Now I will represent origin as O. Now as you can see, this point lies in the coordinate system in such a manner. Now I want to locate this point within this coordinate system. How do I do that? Well, what he thought of was he could divide this x-axis into equal sections. So this is the O, or the origin. So suppose I consider this as the number 0. Now I will divide this line as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. I will divide this line as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. Now how do I use these numbers? Well, as you can see, this is not actually very well represented in the board. The measurements aren't proper, but the intervals are of equal distances. So 0 to 1, the distance between 0 and 1 is equal to distance between 1 and 2 is equal to the distance between the 2 and 3. So they are called unit distances. Now these unit distances can be used to find out the location of this point. Now how do we do that? Well, let us find out at what point in the x-axis does this point lie. Well, 0 to 1, well, I try to draw a straight line which intersects with the x-axis, and I find out that the number 4 is intersecting with this line. Now, I found out that this number 4 which is lying on the x-axis is directly, this point is directly above the number 4. Now, I again draw a dotted line intersecting the y-axis over here. Now, and I again find that the number 4 is getting intersected in the y-axis. Now I find out that the number 4, above the number 4 is the point that I want is lying over here, and to the right of this number 4, the point that I want is lying. Let me name this point as A. Now we can see that these numbers can be used for something. Well, we can see that the distance between the origin and this number 4 is 4 units. So this distance is 4 units, and the distance between origin and this number 4 is again 4 units. So this distance is 4 units as well. Now how can we use this to our value? Well, in order to locate this point, we can say that this point is located 4 units across and 4 units above. So in a clearer manner, if I want to represent, if this is a store and I want to locate this store and tell the information to my friend, then I will say that let me take this units in kilometers. So if the origin is my house, then the store is located at 4 kilometers to the right and 4 kilometers above. So 4, 4 or 4 kilometers, 4 kilometers from my house. So now what will my friend do with this information? My friend will make a similar plot. He will mark my house over here, and he will find out first where his house is from my house. Suppose his house is over here, which is 5. So this is my friend's house, which is B. Now this is O, which is my house. Now first my friend will locate where his house is from my house. Now he knows my house very well, so he can locate his house, which is 5. Now he wants to know the location of the store. Now using the information that I gave, he will first locate the store. So the store is at 4, 4 distance, or 4 kilometers, 4 kilometers according to my information. Now he will first locate the store. Now he knows the place that he lives in, or his house over here, which is 5. Now he wants to locate the store. He will directly know where to go from this point to this point. Now he will have a vague idea of where the store is. He will go over there and he will ask the people who stay nearby over here and ask where the store is, and they will give the information of the store. Now this was a technique, this was another popular technique, which is the Cartesian coordinate system, which was already being in practice and was invented by René Descartes, the French mathematician. Now this proved to be very effective, and it helped many people to find out the location as well as pinpoint a position of a point, and it also was useful in locating some points in the two-dimensional plane. Now in the point of view of this Cartesian coordinate system, there are some terms that are needed to be learned. So I will explain those terms. One of the basic terms that relate to the Cartesian coordinate system is, now you already know there is an x-axis, which is a line which is horizontal and it extends till infinity in both the directions. This is the x-axis. Now you have another line which is vertical, which is called the y-axis. Let me write it over here. Now as you already know, this y-axis is horizontal, it is vertical, and it extends till infinity in both the vertical directions. Now another information is that this y-axis and x-axis are always perpendicular to each other. Now the point at which the x-axis as well as the y-axis meet, this point is called the origin. Now another very important information is that there are certain markings, or this x-axis is divided into certain markings. Well, 0 is considered as the center of x-axis, and with 0 as the center, it is divided into 1, 2 and 3 and so on in the right hand side, so dot 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 till infinity, and in the left hand side -1, -2, -3 and so on till infinity, minus infinity. So why did I introduce the negative signs over here and the positive signs over here? Well, according to the Cartesian coordinate system, all the things that are right hand side or above are considered positive. So if your house is over here, then your friend's house is over here, then it is positively on the right hand side direction from you. Now, if your friend's house in the left hand side direction from your house, then it is in the negative side of the direction or negative side of the x-axis. Now, using the positive as well as the negative directions, one can very well locate a position. Suppose, why can't we represent it in positive directions only? Why do we at all need a negative direction in the first place? Suppose, if you tell your location as, suppose if your friend's house is over here at 4, now you want to tell your friend's location as 4 or it is in the 4th position. Now where will he know, if someone is listening to it, then where will he know your friend's position is? If it is over here or the 4 which is over here. They can get confused, right? They can get confused with this 4 and this 4. If your house is over here, where will they think your friend's house is? Is it in your right or your left hand direction? So that is why we require the negative parts or the negative counterparts which are in the left hand side. Now you can see another simple resemblance. Well, over here as well, on the top of the y-axis or on this part, it is positive. So 1, 2, 3 and so on till infinity, and in the bottom it is negative again. So minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and so on till negative infinity. So as you can see, there is a pattern over here. The right hand side and the top or the upside of the x-axis as well as the y-axis are positive, and the left hand side and the bottom part of the x-axis as well as the y-axis is negative. So using this Cartesian coordinate system, we can very well locate a point. Now how do we locate a point? I have told all this and I have also given a practical example of the use of this Cartesian coordinate system. But how do we effectively locate a point? Well, let us assume I have a point over here. Now what do I do is, I see at what distance is this from the x-axis. Now from the x-axis I draw a point over here, a line over here, and from the y-axis I draw a line over here. So this is my point and I try to intersect both the y-axis and x-axis. Now I see that there is a 3 unit distance over here and a 2 unit distance in the y-axis. So I represent it in such a manner. So first the x-axis distance, which is 3 units, is represented like this, comma, a 2 unit distance of the y-axis is represented like this. So now I can effectively say that this point, which is, I name this point as A. Now this point A lies at 3 units in x-axis and 2 units in y-axis, so as to this point. Now let us consider a point over here. Now how do I locate this point, which is B? Now I can say that I can draw a line over here which is intersecting somewhere between minus 2 and minus 3. I can draw a line over here which is intersecting at 4. Now I can say that I have already told you the x-axis comes first. Now it is 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 units from the x-axis, but it is minus 4. Hence I will represent minus 4 units, comma. I am adding a negative sign because it is in the left of the origin. So the left and right consists of the signs. Now for the y-axis, as you can see, this point intersects between minus 2 and minus 3. So between 2 and 3 it is 2.5. Let us assume it is 2.5, and since it is negative or it is in the downward direction, it is minus 2.5. Now I can effectively tell that this point is minus 4, minus 2.5. That is my location of this point. Well, now we saw how we can represent or locate a point in this Cartesian coordinate system. Now let us see what is this x coordinate as well as this y coordinate. Now the x coordinate of this location, which is 3 as you can see, is called the abscissa. So abscissa. Now the y coordinate, which is 2 over here, this is called the ordinate. Now the abscissa and the ordinate are the two parts of your location, which is your coordinates. Now this set of 3, 2 numbers are called coordinates, and your x coordinate or this 3 is called abscissa, or your y coordinate, which is 2, is called the ordinate. So these are other names for your x coordinate and the y coordinate. So what are the abscissa and the ordinate of this coordination or this number or this set of numbers? The abscissa is minus 4, the ordinate is minus 2.5. Well, in this coordinates, these are the abscissa and the ordinate. Now we have seen the basic terms which are pertaining to the coordinate system, which are the x-axis, y-axis, the origin, and the abscissa as well as the ordinate, which are the x-coordinate as well as the y-coordinate. Now we will be seeing some properties or some basic concepts of this coordinate system. There is something called a quadrant. Well, what is a quadrant? This part is one of a quadrant, this part is another quadrant, this part is also quadrant, this part is also quadrant. Well, a quadrant is usually 4, one among the 4. So there are 4 quadrants over here, and as you can see, this is one among the 4 quadrants. And let me start from here. Now this is my first quadrant. I'll write quad, which is quadrant. Now I'll move it in this order. So this is my second quadrant, this will be my third quadrant, and this will be my final and fourth quadrant. So first, second, third and fourth. Always remember this manner of labeling. So this should be in this manner. So first, second, third and fourth quadrants respectively. Now if I want to locate a point, if the point is over here, I will say that this point is in first quadrant. If my point is over here, then I will say my point is in third quadrant. If my point is somewhere over here, I will say my point is in second quadrant. Now the similar way for the fourth quadrant. Now there are some common properties that involve in the first, second, third and fourth quadrant. So for all my points that are lying in my first quadrant, the x and the y coordinates or the axis and the ordinate will be positive. So let us take an example. Now if I take a point over here, draw some dotted lines. Now I can see that my point is 3 units across, 3 units above. So the coordinates of this point is 3, 3. Now this is my coordinates of this particular point. Now as you can see, both these coordinates are positive in nature. Now whatever point you take, suppose this point which is 2, 1, this point which is 4, 4, which might be 4, 4, or all the points which you take in this first quadrant is always positive. So the common points is positive, positive. Now as of your second quadrant, let us find the properties of your second quadrant. Well, if you take the second quadrant, then the property would be minus, plus. Or your x-axis will contain negative numbers, your y coordinate will contain positive numbers. Let us take an example. If I take this example, if I draw dotted lines over here, then this is minus 2, 2. So minus 2, 2. Now as you can see, the x coordinate is, or the axis is minus 2 and the 2, which is the ordinate, is positive. Now any point you take in the second quadrant is of this form minus, plus. Now as of the third quadrant, both the axis as well as the ordinate is negative. So minus, minus. Now let us take an example. This point, which is, if I draw the dotted lines, this point, if I draw the dotted lines, then it will turn out to be minus 3, minus 3. Now as you can see, both the axis as well as the ordinate are negative. So any point that you take in the third quadrant will be minus, minus. Now in the similar way, you can describe your fourth quadrant, where you guessed it. The x-axis is positive and the y-axis is negative. You can clearly see the numberings of the x-axis is positive in nature, 1, 2, 3 and 4 respectively, and in the y-axis it is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 respectively. So the points is plus, minus. So all the points that lie in the fourth quadrant have the nature of positive, negative as their coordinates. Now these are some basic properties of all the points that you locate in each of these 4 quadrants. So let us try and take some examples to find out and to clarify all our doubts. Now I want to locate the point 0, minus 2. Now if I want to locate this point 0, minus 2, then I will have to see that the axis is 0 or the x coordinate is 0 and the ordinate is minus 2 or the y coordinate is minus 2. Now this point represents 0, the 0 over here represents that there is 0 distance from the x-axis. Now if there is no distance from the x-axis, then this is 1 distance, this is 2 unit distance, this is 3 unit distance, but there is 0 distance in x-axis. So the point must lie somewhere over here, right? So according to the y coordinate, which is minus 2, the point should lie at a minus 2 distance, which is in the bottom side or the downward direction. Now I can clearly say that 0, minus 2 is somewhere over here and there is a minus 2 over here. So 0, minus 1 and minus 2. So my required point lies on the y-axis, which is over here. Now if I want to represent this point, this set of points, minus 2 or minus 4. Now if I want to represent this set of coordinates in this Cartesian coordinate system, then what should I do? Well, I can see that both the x coordinate as well as the y coordinate in my given question is negative. So both these coordinates are negative. Now I will see in which coordinate both the coordinates are negative, both the x as well as the y coordinates are negative. So in which quadrant do we have that property? This is plus, plus, minus, plus, minus, minus. So I can see that both the coordinates over here are negative. So this is the third quadrant. So my point lies in the third quadrant. Now where do I exactly locate my point over here? Now I can see the x coordinate is minus 2 units. So let us see minus 2 units to the left. So 1 and 2. So this is minus 2. I located my minus 2. Now my y coordinate is minus 4 units. So let me locate minus 4. Minus 4 in the sense it is in the downward direction. So 0, 1, 2, 3 as well as 4 over here. So I will locate a minus 4 over here. Now what will I do is, I will try and locate my minus 2 comma minus 4 point. So I will draw a dotted line over here, I will draw a dotted line over here, I will see at which point these two lines intersect, and hence this is my point, which is minus 2 comma minus 4, where minus 2 is the distance from the x-axis or the distance to in the leftward direction, and minus 4 is the distance from bottom direction, from the origin. So we have successfully located two such points in the coordinate geometry, in the Cartesian coordinate system, and we have analyzed some basic terms relating to the coordinate geometry system or the Cartesian coordinate system. Now, as of the scope of this chapter, which is coordinate geometry, only the basics of this chapter is being covered, and all of these are the basics. Now, further moving on to different chapters, you will be analyzing the importance of this coordinate geometry, and in further chapters like your trigonometry, this coordinate geometry is going to be very useful. And a separate chapter called coordinate geometry is going to be there in your as well as your 11th standard. So make sure that you get your basics right, and you also know what is the basics of the coordinate geometry, also the basic terms involving the coordinate geometry. Now I will be ending the video over here with the basics of this coordinate geometry chapter, which is chapter number 3. And if you like the video until now, then please make sure to give a like to the video and subscribe to the channel. And please make sure to press the bell icon to stay notified whenever we post a new video. Now this video is done, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. So see you guys.